Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Forum Kajian Pembangunan this morning. This is the first FKP that is in our traditional form of online on Zoom, the first this year. So it feels somewhat familiar. So welcome everyone who have recently joined or you've attended before. It's nice to have you here this morning. Before we start, let me introduce Forum Kajian Pembangunan briefly. It is a network of organizations in Indonesia which opens up and disseminate its research to the public, general public, to decision makers, to other researchers in the hope of strengthening the research itself and also to advocate for improving public policy in Indonesia. The FKP this year will be hosted by around more than 15 organizations. We're still scheduling our events for 2026. However, we still use our website, social media, and other methods, including mailing lists to reach you. So please subscribe if you enjoy the events. Welcome also to people joining on YouTube. Thank you for coming. The FKP is supported by the ANU Indonesia project at the Australian National University and also by the Australian Department of Foreign Affairs. Thank you for the support. So today, this FKP will feature a presentation by, let me at the spotlight, by Mohammed Bailor Jalloh. Good morning. Good morning, Mas. He goes by Bailor. That's right. Yeah. He is currently a Department of Economics student at the Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. So it's very great to have someone presenting such an interesting paper. Yeah, and not a common paper, as I mentioned earlier, not a common paper for students attending Department of Economics. We are also fortunate to today be joining by Dr. Shofwan Albana Koiruzat, who is an academic at the Department of International Relations at Universitas Indonesia. He will be joining us soon. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Bailor to present his research on understanding Gen Z's protest emotions across four developing democracies, and that's including Indonesia.
Okay.
Please, you have around 40 minutes, Bailor.
Thank you, Bu Lydia. Allow me to share my slides. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and good morning, everyone. And good morning, Bu Lydia. And good morning to Dr. Rumi and also to Dr. Safwan. And it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Mohammed Balajalo. I am from Sierra Leone, West Africa. And today I'm here to present on the topic, the digital barricade, understanding Gen Z protest emotions across four developing democracies. So I wrote this paper with my classmates and in the Aksari Bulan with the supervision of our able lecturer, Dr. Rumi Bhakti Hartarto. We are from the Department of Economics, the Faculty of Economics and Business at the Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. So today, inshallah, I'm going to explain this topic to you guys, and I hope at the end of the presentations you will have a lot of questions to ask, and also you've gained a lot of knowledge on this topic. So let me start with the highlights. And the first one is we have in 2024 we had a lot of protests that went on and across countries, across continents, from Asia to Africa to America. And this has intensified across several developing democracies in recent years, as this pattern reflects growing youth engagement in politics and also social issues within the digital era. And the second point is this study analyzes emotions expressed in 1,500 YouTube comments collected from major international news outlets covering Gen Z-led protest movement. So these comments were collected from the YouTube, from 5 major news channels across Europe and America, and also channels that are European owned, but they operate in Africa. And the finding shows that positive sentiments dominates protest discourse in Bangladesh and Nepal, and which accounts for around 56.76% and 52.7% of the comments respectively for these two countries. While in the opposite, discourse in the Kenya and Indonesia is dominated by negative sentiments, reflecting frustration with corruptions and also repressions and state violence. And now if we look at the introduction, protest has been a norm that have been carried throughout history. And it is also something that is backed by UN, the United Nations, uh, in their charter. Peaceful protest is a core democratic right that supports inclusive institutions and also social justice. So it's not just about something that people are just doing, but it's something that is backed by law and also encouraged, because this is the way that citizens can voice out their dissatisfactions, maybe to policies or to anything that they feel threatens their justice, or also social, or anything that is not good for them. And historically, protests have served as a catalyst for major political and social transformations. If we look at history, let's say in the United States, or in majority in a lot of countries, protests have served as a key catalyst for a lot of things to change. And more especially in the digital era, social media platforms have reshaped how dissent is organized. So let's say previous demonstrations, maybe mobilizations are done manually. You have to meet everyone and discuss with them that we have this, we want to do a protest. But in the digital era, this has shifted from physical to digital. So here you can sit in your room and mobilize a lot of individuals through social media, either WhatsApp, TikTok, or Facebook. So this has amplified the means and also the way in which individuals express, gathered, or also organize protests around the world. And for our research gap, academic research on digital age youth protests has expanded significantly, particularly when it comes to the regard of social media mobilization and political participations. Through through when we went through the literatures, we found out that there's a lot of research that have talked about youth protests using digital tools such as TikTok and also Facebook to mobilize protesters throughout the world. And however, most of these studies remain focused on single countries. So they only use single countries as a case studies. For example, a research done by in Bangladesh to try and understand what is the emotions, what are the sentiments that protesters are showing in Bangladesh. So this was one of the key research gap that we found. And also another gap that we found is the emotion dimensions of online protest discourse remains underexplored, particularly when it comes to YouTube. So previous research, they used either Facebook or X, or formerly known as Twitter, or other platforms. But for YouTube, there are limited research that have used YouTube as their source of data. And so what is the objective of our research? We had two objectives. The first one is to examine the emotions expressed by Gen Z protesters within digital spaces, using YouTube comment as a primary source. So because it's one of the main sources that have not been explored yet. And the study also seeks to compare sentiment patterns across four developing countries, which is Bangladesh, Nepal, Kenya, and also Indonesia. So we did this to identify similarities and differences in protest-related emotions. While previous research did in single case countries, we did this one to understand what is the differences between these countries, how are people reacting, protesters reacting within these different contexts. So this research has three key contributions. It's expand the literature on digital activism by moving beyond single country. It also highlights the role of emotions such as hope, justice, pride, and also frustration, anger in shaping digital protest discourse and collective mobilizations. And the last contribution is it offers practical insight for policymakers and also civil society organizations for them to understand how individual feels, for policymakers to know what is going on and how they can bring some policies that will solve issues. And for our data, we use, we collected our data from 5 major international news channels on YouTube. So as you can see, they are listed here, namely ABC News, which is from America, France 24 English, which is from France, BBC News from UK, but the African version, because we collected the Kenyan data from BBC News Africa, and Al Jazeera, which is from Middle East, from Qatar, and DW News and documentary from Germany. So you can see that we collected from different news channels from different countries just to get a different perspective. So YouTube was selected because it functions as both information platform and also participatory space where users actively engage with protest-related news content. So, and we use YouTube also because it has been highlighted as one of the favorite platform for Gen Zs. So, as highlighted by Coctena and Goal 2020. And the database includes comments responding to 6 videos, which is we collected which was posted between 2024 and 2025 on YouTube. And as you can see on the table here, in YouTube, we typed Gen Z protest. That was our search string. And we had also criterias. We did not just choose any video that we saw, but we had criterias. Video should have minimum 250 comments. And it should also be relevant to the topic that we are discussing. So if you are searching about Bangladesh protests, the video should be relevant to the Bangladesh context. And we equalized the comments so that we can ensure cross-country comparability. So we collected for each country 250 comments so that we will compare it with the same sample. And as you can see on the table here, we highlighted the uploaded dates and also the day that we collected the data and how many we collected. And for the method, we use qualitative textual sentiment analysis to examine the emotions patterns within YouTube comments. And this method allows researchers to examine text and try to categorize the emotions that are within them. Either is it positive sentiment or is it negative sentiment that is in them. And also after we collected the data, because like in YouTube, you have a lot of comments that has emojis or sometimes flags or something like that. So we cleaned it using Voyant. We cleaned it manually, and we use Voyant to categorize these texts. So we imported all the text to Voyant, and Voyant will highlight which word is positive, it will put it as a green, and the words that were negative, they will be in a red. And we use these methods to capture how digital citizens articulate emotions surrounding Gen Z-led protest movement across different national contexts. And because automated sentiment analysis tools may misinterpret, especially sarcasm, or context-dependent expressions, or sometimes you see someone commenting whilst they means the opposite. So we need to also see, and we need to read and understand the context of the comment itself before we can classify it, or we can classify this word as a positive or negative. So we went through the words that this tool classified as positive and negative, and we read the comment. We make sure that these comments are actually in the right positions, which are either positive or negative. And also we The final sentiment results were visualized using color-coded displays to facilitate clear interpretation and comparison across countries. In this case, we use Excel as is one of the main tools that can help researchers to classify like color code words or sentiments. And also these methods that we use in this research it corresponds with previous research like Prasmono and also uh, Karta Kasari. Now we move to the main to the results section, and as you can see here, this is the first result, which is the global pattern. So here we also collected 250 comments from ABC News and France 24 English. So here we are trying to we want to see what is the sentiments that were expressed under this video that is talking about general protests, general Gen Z-led protests, not just in one country, but in general. And as we can see on the results, the overall sentiment analysis reveals a complex emotions landscape. So you can see we have we have the same positive and negative sentiments, like the same amount of positive and negative sentiments. But negative sentiments slightly overweigh positive, reflecting widespread moral outrage toward corruption, repression, and economic hardship. Actually, based on our research, one of our main findings is that individuals on the comment sections, they were more uh, the problem was their comments reflect on the corruptions of politicians overall. So they were so pissed on corrupt politicians. They were so tired of some countries government officials not providing basic necessities like electricity, like water. So this is one of the main things. This is one of the main drivers that push these protesters to go out in the street and protest. And also, this is what we saw on the comment sections. At the same time, positive sentiments were also expressed, such as hope, justice, pride, and freedom, which signal solidarity with youth-led protest movement. This result also indicates that uh, social media have amplified actually the solidarity within countries. So here you can see if people are protesting in Indonesia, maybe someone from Kenya or someone from Sierra Leone will post in the comments, "Oh, come on, guys, continue. This is good. We need to hold our leaders into accountability." So you can see that they have solidarity among the youth and among all the commenters in the comment sections. And this results also highlighted that digital space functions as arenas for mourning and also mobilizations. It's not just where they go and mourn, but also they use these tools to mobilize and try to see how best they can amplify their voices. Now we move to country cases, and the first one is Bangladesh. As highlighted in the highlights, Bangladesh has uh, positive sentiments that dominate with 56.76% of frequent occurring emotions expression. So commenters commonly express pride, gratitude, and solidarity toward Gen Z protesters who challenge political repressions. And we see this positive sentiments or positive comments mainly because you had these protests resulted to the resignations of their prime minister, which the youths were protesting about for them to dismantle the government and bring someone who they trusted, which they appointed. And so if you went through the comments, you see that people are expressing and positive and hoping for a better future. Uh, and also, negative sentiments also, we can also see negative sentiments such as corruptions, which is the main thing in all this, one of the main theme in all of the countries. And also state violence, as in Bangladesh, they had more than 1,000 deaths during the protest. So people were also complaining about state violence, and it shows grievances. And if we move to the next one, which is Nepal, in Nepal, also positive sentiments slightly overweigh negative sentiments. Also because in Nepal, also uh, after the protest, they changed the government also. The prime minister resigned. So you see under the comments, people are so proud because they were able to achieve what they wanted for their government to be resolved or for the government to be changed. So you see the positive sentiments in the comments. And But here again, the repeated emphasis on corruptions indicates that anger towards political leadership serve as a central emotion catalyst. So if you can see at the results, corruption here got around more than 130 words was shown in the comment sections, while the second word killed only got around 30 words. So you can see that emotions we are driven by the state corruptions and also leaders corruption. But one thing is should also be noted here is um, this the dominance of corruption in this video also is also motivated by the way Al Jazeera titled their YouTube video. So they titled this as YouTube protested in Nepal because of the shutdown of internet or social media platforms. So the commenters were pointing out to Al Jazeera or to the news outlet that no, we are not protesting because of the shutdown of social media, but because of corruption that is carried out by our leaders in this country. So this was also one of the factors that drive the higher number of the word corruption in the comment section. Uh, Alongside frustrations, expression of hope and justice reflect also aspiration for political reform and accountability. As I stated earlier, their prime minister resigned, which gave them a lot of hope for the future and uh, future of good governance and also a free society. And we move to the third one, which is Kenya. This one is in Africa. So here also, the protest in Kenya also started because of a tax bill that was introduced in the parliament, and the youth were frustrated because there were no jobs, while the government they're just adding taxes on the citizens. So they went out with started with peaceful protests, which ended up to be sorry. Sorry. They started with a peaceful protest, which ended up being a disaster because they also had more than 1,000 deaths during the protest. And and also here you can see that corruption is also one of the key theme here, which suggests that anger toward political leadership was central emotion. Corruption was the central emotion catalyst for protest mobilizations because of the way leaders are maybe using public funds or the way they are just introducing policies without consulting maybe local government or local heads. So this frustrated the youth. That's why they mobilized and went out to the street to voice out their anger. And we can also see this in the comments, as we can see words such as corruption, a regime, dictators in the comment sections. But also they also express hope in the comment sections, which also reflect aspiration for political reforms and accountability. And also this is because like when they protested, the president refused to sign the tax bill that was introduced in the parliament, which was voted voted on. So because this policy was not passed, you see some of the commenters in the in the YouTube video, they are commenting positive words such as like keep fighting, it is good, and thank you to the people that went out to protest. Sorry. Yeah. So this one also has a mixture of both positive and negative sentiment. And we move to the last one, which is Indonesia. Indonesia had the highest negative sentiment. It shows the highest negative sentiment among the four countries, which it accounts for 64.18% of protest discourse. And in this case, also negative expression focuses on corruption, like nepotism, and also the abuse of political power by state authority. As we all know, Indonesia's protest, the latest protest also started with a tax that was introduced in one of the provinces, I think in Aceh, which resulted in protests until it's become a wide nation protest when the object driver was killed. So here also you can see that yes, people are protesting, but the key theme here is because of corruption. So they want their leaders to be accountable, they want their leaders to be responsible and make the right decisions. So these emotions pattern also reflect unresolved grievances and continued dissatisfactions with governance and law enforcement practices. So overall, we can see that whilst all the country in all the countries, the commenters express negative sentiments, but they also have positive sentiments with the hope for a better future and hope that their governments can hear and can take note of what they are protesting about and then try to introduce things that will benefit all of them. And if we go to the comparison, as you can see here, just like I have highlighted previously, we have Indonesia with the highest negative sentiment with 64%, and also with Kenya followed by 53%, and Indonesia, Bangladesh, and Nepal had high positive sentiments. So these differences demonstrate that despite their similarities, Gen Z-led protest strategies elicit distinct emotion response depending on political outcome and state-citizen relations. So you can see here, like in the case of Bangladesh and Nepal, you see positive sentiment because what they were protesting against was regime change or for their head of states to be changed. And this went through, they were able to achieve this. And you see that people are expressing positive sentiments in the comments. While for the case of Indonesia and Kenya, yes, they're also expressing positive sentiments, but a lot of the comments were uh, mainly linked to negative sentiments because of the persistent corruptions in these countries and the frustrations of the protesters across these countries. And the conclusions for this research, we can say that this study demonstrates that Gen Z-led protest emotions are shaped by a combination of moral outrage and collective hope. So it's not just about being angry, but at the end, they also have hope for better leaders in the future. And they hope that their leaders can hear them and try to solve their grievances. And also, we can say that digital platforms such as YouTube functions as space for mourning and also shared injustice while simultaneously mobilizing collective actions. So, social medias such as maybe TikTok or WhatsApp and Facebook and also YouTube, these tools can be used as platforms uh, to to show grievances, but also to mobilize protesters and to try to voice out their angers. And the third one is understanding online emotion discourse can help policymakers anticipate political arrests and also engage more constructively with young citizens. So if our politicians or stakeholders can pay attention to social media, what is going on in social media, because in nowadays everything, most of uh, individuals or people are their grievances they put them in social media like X or TikTok. So if policymakers can focus on this on these platforms and try to anticipate what is the current situation of their citizens, what are they talking about, what is going on, this will help them to anticipate unrest and also engage constructively with youth citizens. So this will help them to engage with them before anything happens. And lastly, we suggest that future research should extend this analysis across platforms. So we use only YouTube, and we suggest that future research use maybe combine YouTube and X and try to analyze within different countries, different contexts, not just one country, because there's a lot of research on that. But yeah, use different platforms and also incorporate different countries and different contexts so that we can understand how digital emotions influence offline political change. And that is all for my presentation. Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask.
Thank you very much, Bailo, for the presentations. Very interesting, and also interesting to see the result that Indonesia, yeah, has more of the negative sentiments, and it's quite different, yeah, compared to the others, and yet was not successful. So we are very fortunate to be joined by Dr. Sofwan Albana Hoiruzat from
Yes, I'm here.
Department. Are you driving, Pa? I hope you are not driving.
Sini.
Okay. So, Pak Sofwan will be giving
Yes.
a discussion of the presentation, and so this is very apt, yeah, from International
Yeah.
Relations Department, looking at this research in the comparative perspective, and also from the political science perspective. Silakan, Pak. You have about 10 minutes.
Yes. Thank you very much, Bu Lydia, and thank you very much, Bailor, for the very interesting presentation. I read the draft of the article with a lot of interest, and your presentation is also very much highlighting the argument. So I'm going to go directly to some of my comments. I will divide this into two categories. The first one is on the substance on of the argument, and the second is on the methodology. First, on the substance, I think it is important. Sorry. It is important to be careful on the terminology of the Gen Z protests. Although it is widely used in media or even probably in academic journals to describe the recent phenomenon of the digitally mediatized social movements recently. I uh, I personally think that simplification of these protests into a generational characterization as a Gen Z protest needs to be more scrutinized because in a way this highlights the similarities of these different protests in a way that they are pretty much mobilized through online platforms. They are mobilized mostly by the youth who are familiar with these digital platforms. But it also, at the same time, erasing the other parts of the important stories. For example, in Indonesia, the escalation of the protest was pretty much not only because of the digital activism, it is because of the online the incidents of Afan Kurniawan, right? And the network of the online drivers. So it's and online drivers. I'm not really sure are demographically or dominated by Gen Z. So there are, I mean, the terminology is interesting and widely used, but maybe it is also important to scrutinize the use of the concept of this Gen Z protest because it also erases the peculiarities, the specificities of the context in each countries, which you actually would like to compare and analyze, right? Secondly, I think another important aspect is that this paper aims to extend the existing literatures, which talks on the sentiment analysis on the digital platforms on protest movement by making comparison across countries, right? But what I feel from reading the article is that the comparison part, the analysis that then provides comparison to the between the cases and how the cases can be then compared systematically is not yet been there. So you are what you are doing is first making the general result, and after that you go case by case, and then you make a general conclusion. But the comparison of the cases are still, I think there are a lot of rooms to analyze there. For example, maybe it is also important not only to look at the how to say, to read the comments and the sentiments and to interpret the comments and the sentiments. Maybe not enough to just say that this mirrors the offline transformation. We need to understand also and maybe explain also the offline transformation itself, right? We need to explain the offline context. We need to explain the different chronologies and context and political structures, etc., which then mirrored through these sentiments. So I think this is a very interesting paper, but seems to be very much limiting itself in the analysis. So in Indonesian words like nanggung, I mean, it can be something more contributive, but you stop at a very early analysis stage, which could actually be elaborated more. So I think a lot of, I mean, there are room for improvement here on the analysis. So maybe here what I would like to ask is in your analysis, because not all of your analysis may be written, so maybe you have it in your head actually. So what actually how to say can differentiate between these different protests? What are the explanations on the connections between the offline transformations in each cases and the online sentiments? So and lastly, on the substantial part is my question on how the sentiment analysis do you think that sentiment analysis could also be used by those in power then to manage the protest, right? I mean, so for example, in Indonesia's case, when there was the boiling point offline and online, what the government do is not trying to solve the problem, but manage the problem by managing the emotion, right? They canalize the aspiration, they invite some people who are then identified as the representative of the protest. So they manage it emotionally. So maybe it is also interesting to look at how the sentiments and the emotions are actually not in a vacuum. It is happening also in a space which actors are trying to engineer it, including the state or the authority. So that's it. And the second part is on the methodology. I think you explained the methodology quite clearly, but what I would like to clarify is first on you say that you have you select 250 comments each, and you select this specific titles of the news. What is the criteria for selecting the titles, the specific videos? Because reports on the protests are so many, right? Even in the channels, because what I see is the sentiments are pretty much not necessarily reflects the sentiments towards the protest, but also mostly sentiments towards the framing of the news, which is presented in that particular video. Because, for example, Indonesia was very negative. I think it is not only because of the protest in Indonesia itself, but also because of the news. If you look at the title, I think it makes sense that Indonesia have a more negative sense because the title is at violent protests erupt in Indonesia after police killing. I mean, killing is in the title. So if killing is in the title, I mean, of course, people will be angry, right? I mean, like it's expected from the title itself. In Nepal is also the at least 19 killed, etc. So I think while maybe in Bangladesh it's more positive because the title is How Student Protest Toppled Sheikh Hasina. So the victory of the movement is the frame of the discussion. So I think, how to say, maybe we need to be more careful in selecting the news, because the news then define the sentiments, right? I mean, maybe if there are how to say, uh, time to strengthen the article, maybe it will be very interesting to do similar thing. But looking at videos which are more similar, I mean, for example, the same tone from the news, the same framing of the issue. So it's not a different framing of the issue. And that's on the news. And on the comments, how do you decide the 2050, 250 comments? Because you need to push others, right? You need to select 250 and not putting the others there. Or maybe there are other comments. So I think that's all my comments. Overall, it's very interesting and a very strong article. What I would hope is it has more elaboration on the comparison as promised by the introduction part, and also be careful about the concept as well as the methodology. But congratulations, Bailon. Thank you very
Mhm.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Sofwan, and really appreciate you taking the time to provide this feedback. Before I take the Q&A from the attendees, I see in the room we have 24 people. Let me let Bailor respond to these comments, maybe about 5 minutes, to respond to the comments by Pak Sofwan.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Safwan. And I've written down the comments that you, yeah. And like I said in my presentation also, for the case of like Nepal, like I highlighted that they use a lot of, like, the commenters use in the comment, like, corruption a lot in the comment section because of the way the video was framed. Because at first Al Jazeera just posted yeah the caption was totally different to why they were protesting. So they were indicating in the comment section, no, we are not protesting because of the shutdown of internet or social media, but because of the corruption of our political leaders. So yeah, thank you for the feedback. I have taken notes of everything, and I'll make sure I improve based on this comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bailor. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have a session on Q&A. You may write your questions in the comment box. Sorry, not comment box, Q&A box. You can see underneath your dashboard, there is a Q&A box. Or raise your hand and ask directly. We will unmute you to ask directly. So right now I have Yaya Sao, who would like to ask a question. You can unmute your mic now.
Okay. Are you getting me?
Yeah, you can hear you. Yes.
Oh, okay. So thank you very much, Mr. Bailo and Madam Lydia. Of course, Mr. Bailo, you give a very insightful presentation. I am Yaya So, a postgraduate student at the University of Atmajaya, Yogyakarta. Of course, I am a researcher also focusing on political behavior in developing democracies. All right. So from the background of your topic highlighted, I would like to ask, why do similar protest emotion among gangs result in different political outcomes across developing democracies? And how does the digital environment mediate those differences?
Okay. Thank you. That's a very hard question. And you're
Yeah.
joining from Jakarta or Jogja, Pak Yaya?
Yogyakarta.
Okay, Atmajaya in Yogyakarta. All right, thank you. Would you like to take that while we wait for other questions, my lord?
I think I will take this, though, like you said, it's kind of a tricky question, yeah. Um, yeah, like I said, so the protests, like these comments that we collected from YouTube, as I want to point out that this was basically after protest, yeah, actually, because these videos were posted after the protest. But here we just try to see what is the sentiment, what are they expressing in these comment sections, how what's the main thing that we like we said, this protest has resulted in different outcomes in different countries. Like for the case of uh, Bangladesh and Nepal, both of their prime ministers resigned, and like for the case of Bangladesh, the prime minister ran away. But in the case of Indonesia and Kenya, yes, yeah, the policies that were introduced were rectified, but still a lot of people, it's resulted to the demise of a lot of people. So, and it's this protest had different outcomes in different contexts. And if we come to the digital aspect, I think digitalization is now helping to amplify on how individuals gathered, and how they can mobilize and how they can coordinate among them, so that they can come out in massive numbers, and they can come out and voice their dissent. And social media has actually been one of the key tools used these days. If we look at the case of Iran, and the case of Bangladesh, all of these protests, all of maybe throughout 2024, social media was one of the key platforms that they used to carry out these protests. So social media has now been one of the key tools that they use to mobilize and try to voice out their dissatisfaction, hoping that this will bring out changes, and also uh, try to solve their solutions. I think, yeah, I'll stop there for this answer. Hope that answered your questions, though it's trickier.
Yes. Yes,
Would you,
yes.
would you like to have a follow-up comment, Pak Yaya?
Like Mr. Bailo, everything you said, it's explicitly good. And I'm really grateful at least to be part of this seminar, to see young researchers like trying to give their insights, like trying to say things. Anyway, I just want to say thank you, keep it up, and then have a nice day.
Thank you, Mr. Yaya.
Okay, thank you for coming. All
Okay.
right. So while we're still waiting for other questions, I would like to pose one question to you. Maybe a couple. One is on the methodology. It was mentioned that YouTube is the platform of choice or something like that for Gen Z. Yeah. In the paper, I think maybe you can support this, although you quote another researcher. Maybe you can support this with data on the age distribution generally in of YouTube. I don't know if this exists, but I have seen it. I think I don't remember where of these age categories amongst different social media platforms. So perhaps this is something to support your thesis that it's Gen Z, although we cannot know who the commenters are, but if the population is
Mm.
a certain band of age, that might be the way to show that it is indeed Gen Z.
Actually,
Uh,
sorry to interrupt you, but actually I tried, and I reached out to these news channels. I sent them an email to try and see if I can get the engagement like of those videos, but unfortunately, they were not able to provide it because I don't know, maybe because of privacy or something like that. But yeah,
Yeah, I think maybe probably you won't be able to get it from the YouTube
news
itself,
release.
but more maybe secondary literature of people who've done papers, and they were able to get the ages of the commenters. I know in Instagram that actually we can have information as an Instagram account owner, like an account FKP. I can see in the back, what do you call it, in the back kitchen or something like that, in the back room, the ages of people that uh, react, yeah, engage with our post.
Engaged, yeah,
Yeah,
reacted.
yeah, and
Yeah,
our post. I,
exactly.
I guess that's
Uh,
anecdotal on each post, yeah, but maybe there is
yeah,
someone talking
that
about that, and you can,
yeah, that's actually what I asked. I did not email YouTube, but I emailed the news channels
yeah,
themselves actually.
I see, yeah,
Yeah, but yeah,
yeah. So that's in terms of methodology. And secondly, about the comments themselves. So I guess because the news were in English,
yeah,
that the comments were all in English that were
yeah,
chosen.
all in English.
I wonder if that is a little biased to the
Exactly.
people who are, the people who are well, I guess
Writing
for
in Bahasa.
the countries itself, Kenya is English speaking, I guess, yeah.
Yes, yes.
A little bit different than Indonesia and Bangladesh
Bangladesh,
and Nepal, which is not
Nepal.
so
Yeah.
English speaking, yeah. What do you think about this comparison where the country is English speaking and the others are,
Yeah,
I don't
for the
know how
comment,
you can, how you can differentiate between them, maybe based on the demographics about languages in each of the
yeah.
countries, yeah.
For the comments, like well, we looked for video that has English comments actually. So for the videos that we selected, it's only Indonesia that had a lot of Bahasa Indonesia comments. But for the other
Okay.
countries, throughout the comments, it was English. A lot of the comments. I would say 90% of the other videos, it was English. It was only the one for Indonesia that had a lot of comments in Bahasa Indonesia. I think that's one of the limitations also. That's maybe future research or even this paper we can try to collaborate. We can try to incorporate the Bahasa comments and try to translate them into English so that we can get the perspectives of other people expressing their perspective in different languages.
Because I saw some of these comments about blood, something like that, is quite
Yeah,
violent, yeah.
yeah, it's in
Um,
yeah, it's Kenya, I think so.
yeah. So whereas the others not that violent. So I guess this issue of language might be playing a role in the comparison. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are there any questions? Please feel free to raise your hand or to ask directly or write in the Q&A box. I don't see any in the Q&A box. I guess it's also because the presentation is very clear.
Thank you.
Anyone? Okay, it's okay if there are no questions. We can close early, but another thing that we had discussed, I was discussing with a friend on WhatsApp about these positive sentiments, yeah. I think we in Indonesia, do you know that term, the government buzzers? It's like people who work for the government in social media. Well, we don't know who they work
Mm,
for, but there are some people who say that politicians or government departments hire online people to post positive comments.
Positive comments.
Yeah, so there is suspicion. Yeah, we were discussing
Mm,
what are these positive comments? Could they be like buzzer? And one way to identify buzzer in the social media is that they seem to have us the same brief. So they say the same thing, use the same tag, and it's like quite artificial. Actually, you can see that. So what do you have any comment on this, that the positive comments were most like these people hired to post comments?
Uh, I did not think about that, but I think it's something I should put in mind. So yeah, I'll make sure I put that into my consideration, maybe for the final draft of the paper, and yeah, indicate that.
Yeah, yeah. If you see something like this across social media or something in Indonesia, we see it quite clearly. There is critics on some project. For example, now there's a lot of critic on the lunch meal
Yeah.
program, school lunch program, and every time there's a critic, there would be other people using like some the same keywords, yeah, to mention please continue, and using the tags and something like that. So these would probably be positive sentiments in your data. However, wondering if that's a valid kind of a positive sentiments to be included. Okay, so because there are no other questions, perhaps we can close the discussion early with I think Pak Romi is still here. Would you
Yeah.
like to say a few words, Pak Romi? This is Dr. Romi Bakti Hartarto is the co-author of the paper.
Thank you, Bu Lydia, but at the moment, no further comments from me. So I think Baylor is doing well in his presentation.
I agree. Thank you very much, Pak Romi. So I will close the seminar, but before that, let me give a big thank you to the presenter, of course, with to Baylor, with a note that please let us know what happened to the paper. Hopefully, you
Sure.
can you can revise it to have it uh, what do you call it, published, yeah. And also a big thank you to Pak Sofwan for your time as a discussant. It was very interesting to get that perspective, and perhaps later on, if Bailor has comments or others, or maybe suggestions on what to read, yeah, or papers to strengthen the paper, it would be welcome. Thank you again, everyone, and those attending. Please come to other FKP seminars. We will have one on the 27th of February with JPAL Southeast Asia. Please subscribe to our social media platforms, and follow us if you would like through mailing list also. Thank you again, and see you next time. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you, everyone.